Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Good. Well, we really appreciate everybody coming out. My name is Lorenzo Johnson. I'm one of the partners at Socially In, and I help run our social selling division. So we're very, very excited for everyone to come here today. Just a very, very quick introduction. Who is Socially In? Who is Socially In? Has anyone ever heard of Socially In by chance? Yeah? People? Tony has? Good. Well, we are a full-service digital marketing or social media marketing agency based out of Birmingham, Alabama. We also have an office here in Atlanta, Georgia, right in the ATV, right up on floor 3. So we're very, very excited to be here with everybody. The purpose of today, good. Hold on, guys. How much? Okay. Testing. Testing.
We hear you.
Better?
Yeah.
Justin, is that better?
Yeah.
For the camera?
Yeah.
So sorry about that, guys. So, the purpose is today is to talk to everyone about how they can effectively use LinkedIn as a platform. And more importantly, how as an organization, if and when used properly, LinkedIn can not only generate an extensive amount of leads and revenue, it really provides you and your organization an opportunity to really change the game and really be that thought leader, that industry expert that all of us are really hoping and aiming to be. So just a few quick questions just to kind of see who's all in the room. If you all don't mind, we'd love just for everyone just to introduce their name and the company that they're with. We would love to try to make sure that the content that we're going to be talking through today is appropriate. We really want to make sure that we can guide it. And at the end of the day, we want this to be action. We want everybody in this room to be able to use the information that we're going to be talking through today and immediately put it to use. So if you all don't mind, we're just going to kind of start over here. And welcome. We're just going to do first names and companies that we're with.
Okay. Hi there, everyone. Ria from Argo HQ.
I'm Saurabh with TaxN.
Christian, Happy Talks.
Artist was over here, man.
Keith, Socially In.
So Anthony, the name of my company is Look Innovative Agency. We're a Microsoft partner.
I'm Alex. I'm the Socially In.
Hi, I'm Nina, I'm socially in. I'm Avery, I'm a socially in.
Well, thank you all for coming. Like I said, we really appreciate it. So, a few things about just our team, just a few things about our culture and things that are really important to us. And the reason that we're starting here also is because what we're going to be talking through on LinkedIn is also how can you take the culture of your team and also make sure that that is being communicated properly using these social media channels. So a few things about our team. We're diverse, collaborative, dedicated, highly energetic, and adaptable. And that's important because these are the type of people that we like to surround ourselves with so that we can really make sure that we're delivering the best results, best campaigns for our clients. Today, runtime is going to be around 2 hours today. Like I said, we really want this to be interactive. We won't have a question and answer session at the end because I want you guys to ask questions throughout this process. So as I'm going through any of these tactics, any of these deliverables, any of these techniques, if you have questions about how you and your organization could use these immediately, please stop me. Please raise your hand. We would love to make this, like I said, as interactive as possible. Without further ado, social selling. How many people in here have heard the term social selling tossed around lately? Social selling. All of these people are social selling. But what is social selling? Does anyone in here feel like they have a grasp of what social selling is? Or is that just one of those cliche words that's just being tossed around? Yeah, that's what we thought. So, social is not a place for a hard sell. It's a place to build trust and build credibility. And that's the one frame of mind that we really want everyone in this room to take away from this and be thinking about when we're talking. It's not about generating that sale, but how are you communicating? How are you connecting? How are you nurturing your prospects? How are you nurturing your leads? How are you building that thought leadership and that expertise? Here at Socially, we define social selling as the process of developing relationships as part of the sales process through social media. It's using social media to find, connect, nurture, and understand your prospects. And it's the modern way. As we all know, traditional methods of outreach are declining. You know, I don't know how many people are in sales in here. And a lot of people, that's good. Phone calls. You can't just call and get people on the phone. Everybody thinks it's spam, all of these different things right here. So we're having to really open up the channels that we're reaching out to. And this LinkedIn and social selling and social media is a great channel for us. A few things to consider. When you're talking about social selling, what is your strategy? What is your strategy? And there's a couple things that I want to talk through when you're developing your strategy that's going to be very important and for you all to keep in mind if you want to effectively social sell. Because to effectively do it, it's not the idea of waking up and just posting on LinkedIn. What's the purpose? What bucket is this content going towards? Is this for a cold audience? Is this for a warm audience? Is this for a hot audience? Have you all even thought through how you're engaging people differently in those buckets? These are important things to consider. So there's 7 things when you're thinking about your social strategy that you should be considering. Number 1, finding and connecting with prospects. How are you going to find and connect with your prospects? Number 2, how do you plan on establishing yourself as the industry expert? Are you really an industry expert? It's a question to keep in mind. A lot of people claim to be industry experts. How are you leveraging your customer relationships? How are you leveraging referrals? How are you leveraging endorsements? How are you keeping your leads warm? How do you plan on nurturing your prospects? How do you plan on nurturing your pipeline? How can you stay top of mind? What's the frequency that your audience is looking forward to hearing you? And again, how are you going to consistently and efficiently connect with your prospects and your customers? You all, social media is an awesome way to help your retention rates. So again, we're going to keep going through some of these tactics, but first and foremost, when you start social selling, you need to have a strategy. It's not something that you can just throw against the wall and hope that it sticks. What is social selling for? It's for opening the doors to conversations. It's for showing value to your prospects, building rapport, credibility, providing info and being a resource. What is it not? It is not to go in for the hard sell. Yes, you should make it easy and accessible for your clients and your prospects to convert. But social selling is not to go in for the hard sell. It's not to spam people. It's not to immediately go in and ask for that call. I like to tell people, ask yourself, have you earned the right to ask for this meeting with this prospect? And if you haven't, how can you take a step back and really make sure that you're providing that value and that resource that's really going to earn that right to ask for that call and sit down with your prospect? Why social selling? LinkedIn has over 600 million users. And did you all know that there are 161 million active users on LinkedIn currently? 161 million. All of your audience is on that platform. A few things. We did some surveys. 45% of social sellers created more opportunities by leveraging LinkedIn. 51% of social sellers were more likely to reach their quota when leveraging LinkedIn. Great things to keep in mind. And again, some benefits. When you're thinking, is LinkedIn the platform we should be using? Is social strategy or social selling a strategy that your brand would like to incorporate? Well, then I have a couple questions for you all. Who all feels that it's important for them to be positioned as a thought leader in this room? Raise your hand. Who all feels it's important to generate warm leads? Who all feels it's important to stay top of mind? What about growing your pipeline? Gaining insights, research. That's all of us. All of the above. So again, you guys, these are the benefits, and this is what we're missing out on by not fully using these platforms to its biggest advantages. Just a few more stats, because even though we talk concepts, what are the numbers behind it as well? 76% of buyers are ready to have a social media conversation. 62% of buyers respond to salespeople who connect with them and share insights relevant to their business. Again, have we provided that value and that resource before we ask for the call? 31% of business-to-business professionals say that social selling has allowed them to build deeper relationships. 81% of buyers use social media to research purchases before. 72% of buyers use social media, 72% of buyers use social media to research before they actually make the purchase. And 81% are more likely to engage with a strong professional brand. How many people in here have LinkedIn company pages? How many people are active on their LinkedIn company pages? It's excellent. Kind of, sort of. It's okay, we're not telling you that. But again, that's the one thing that we always talk about is that credibility. That credibility. It all starts with listening. If you don't find those opportunities, being able to execute on those opportunities is absolutely irrelevant. And in the business-to-business market, there isn't a better platform than LinkedIn for finding and connecting with those ideal niche prospects that we're all going after. So, it's going to get into an actionable section for today. So if everybody wants to take notes, there's a few things we wanted to leave you all with today as far as what you can do right now when you walk out of this room that can start to change the game for your business. Before we get into that, is anyone familiar with what's called your SSI or your Social Selling Index score on LinkedIn? Has anyone heard that term? Well, that's great. So one of the beautiful things about LinkedIn as a platform is LinkedIn actually helps you and guides you in what you need to do to improve yourself from that credibility and from that thought leader standpoint. Your SSI score is broken up into 4 categories. 4 categories. Number 1, is your brand established? Number 2, are you connecting and engaging with the right people? Number 3, are you engaging with insights and research? Are you strategic? And number 4, are you building relationships and engaging with individuals appropriately? As a result of that algorithm, LinkedIn will produce what is called a social selling index score. It will literally rank you for everybody that's in your current network. It will rank you for any people that are in your industry. As an organization, our goal is for everyone to be in the top 1% in their network and the top 1% of their industry. That's what we're going to talk through. And these tactics that we're about to go through next are the things that if you do on a daily basis, this is how you can rise to be in that top 1%, which is really where you aim to be as that thought leader and as that expert. The first thing is optimizing your profile. Optimizing your profile. Do you have an updated profile picture? Some of these things sound so simple, but I can't tell you how many times our clients come to us with old, outdated 20-year-old pictures. Depending on the industry they're in, it's not appropriate for what they sell. So these are some things to be keeping in mind. Your profile picture should be no more than 2 years old. It needs to be high definition, and it needs to reflect the industry that you're selling. Number 2, do you have a cover photo? One of the great things about your cover photo is it allows you to be creative, and it allows you to really speak and connect with people on a more personal path. Your cover photo is actually a great place to put something that you're passionate about. Hobbies, lifestyle. It's a great place to really start to separate yourself and connect as a person. Connect as a person. Number 3, is your headline optimized? Did everyone know that LinkedIn is working in that, and they're working and it's connecting now with SEO so that your headline is now searchable? Did you guys know that? So why is that important? Well, when you're crafting your headline, you want to speak to the problems you solve, what you're addressing, how you help them, so that when people search that, you literally can potentially start to come up and rise in that space. Again, we're talking thought leader, we're talking credibility. Optimize that headline. Your job title. Are you hiring? What problems are you addressing or seeking to solve for your prospects? Number 4, your about section. It should be clear, concise, direct. It should be capturing and captivating. And it can be creative. It can be creative. That's the one thing that I really want to encourage you all to keep in mind. LinkedIn sometimes has this very stuffy feeling about it. But there are some awesome places to be creative, and I encourage everyone to make sure that they take advantage of that. Optimize your LinkedIn URL. Are you aware that your LinkedIn URL does not have to be linkedin.com/12567891013? You guys know that? Yeah, make sure it's optimized to your company name, to your personal name. Little things that really come off and show you as being credible and the expert that you claim to be. Presentation matters. Have you updated your experience and your achievements? Have you updated your credentials? Do you have awards? Again, everything that you can add to separate yourself from the competition, that's going to help give you that leg up from the competition, you guys. So again, diplomas, certifications, these are all things you really want to make sure that you have up to date. And then there's 7 things that we encourage everyone to do every single day. Typically, LinkedIn, we recommend that you spend about 30 minutes or so per day on LinkedIn to really effectively make sure that you're using your social strategy, your social selling strategy. The first thing you're going to want to do every day is make sure you're adding people to your network. Make sure you're adding relevant people to your network. Number 2, is anyone familiar with what is called a view profile strategy on LinkedIn? Is everyone aware that whenever you view a person's profile on LinkedIn, that they get a notification that you look at it? Use that to your advantage. Engage on posts, comment, share, ask for feedback, ask for thoughts. One of the things that we always like to remind and encourage people is social media engagement is very, very reciprocal. You give and you get. In order, if you expect people to engage on your posts, if you expect people to engage with your brand, you also need to make sure that you're engaging with other people. Number 4, are you using targeted lead lists on LinkedIn? Are you aware that when you save a save search on LinkedIn, that LinkedIn will automatically build people and add people to that prospect list that fit into those filters and you don't have to add them? It's a self-building prospect list. So are we using those save searches? Are we messaging connections? Are we using our email? Again, are we interacting with people in ways that encourages them to come back and interact with us? Are we endorsing people? Have we endorsed our clients? See, these are really great things that we have to keep up, and this is how we're building that strategy and that credibility. And again, are you providing valuable resources? Are you just claiming to be this industry leader? Or are you really being that place that people want to look forward to? That's our goal for our clients. We want our clients to have a page where people say, I can't wait to look at them. Whenever they post, I know they provide so much value. I'm super excited. That's the place that you want to be. I'm going to take a quick pause. Any questions or comments on what we went through so far? Any thoughts on what we went through so far?
A lot of what you're talking about is with Sales Navigator.
Yes and no.
Is that what you're about to get?
We're about to get into it. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
How do you straddle when you have your startup, but you also...
Can you talk just a little more?
Sure. If you're a thought leader in
Yes,
a
ma'am.
certain segment, but you are going into a new one, like you have a company, so you still want to show your thought leadership.
Mhm.
However, it's almost like you want to transfer it over to this new thing that you're doing. What would you suggest? Like, do you think still the list, or How would you say kind of bridge that between when they're two different things?
Well, there's a few different ways you can do that. So the first thing that I would say, and not knowing what the two things that you do, I'm thinking of a client that we have, for example, that works in both, he sells diamond drill tool bits, and then he runs an HR company. Extremely different. He does not treat them. He doesn't just merge them together. So for example, on his personal page, he literally has a cover photo that's broken in half for both companies. He has two different company pages. So here's the other beautiful thing about it to answer your question also more specifically. You can link multiple company pages to your personal pages. So if you don't just have to completely break away from that brand unless you want it to break away from that brand. But again, that also goes back into the commentary that at the beginning about your social strategy. And again, that taking that time of a step back and saying, what is my strategy going to be for LinkedIn? Are both of my audiences on LinkedIn here? And then from there, you can craft your content appropriately to speak to those audiences. And then when you start to get into the next level, that's when you can say, okay, how am I speaking to my cold audience? How am I speaking to my warm audience? How am I speaking to my hot audience? Does that answer your question? Yes, ma'am. So, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. How many people have LinkedIn Sales Navigator in here? For everyone that is in the business-to-business space, it is one of the most game-changing purchases you could ever make for your business. Also, you get a free month on LinkedIn. So, it's also something that you can just try and test. But this next section right here, we're going to go through why it is so valuable, and again, how it will become a critical part of your social selling strategy. I have a couple case studies that we helped put together, and one of them is going to be from ADP. In sales, it is extremely difficult to find the right contacts to have those key conversations with, says Russ, who manages major accounts. Since I started using LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I've been able to identify the key players on an account, and that has allowed me to be more strategic in my territory planning. It has not only increased my number of executive meetings, but because I'm having conversations with people, I have decreased the amount of time it typically takes to close a deal. How many people would love to increase that closing rate, but decrease the time it takes to happen? These are the tactics that can help you do that. So, there's three things that I want to talk about that are extremely key when it comes to what you can do on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Number one, there are search functions that you can do on free LinkedIn, but there's a whole nother level of filtering that you can get into once you get into Sales Navigator. Everything from company size, company revenue, titles, the sector they're in. Did you know you can create a list of people who use Salesforce as a CRM? Things like that people never cross their mind. Again, did you know that you can go after groups? Did you know that you can go after and create lists of people who follow other people? All of these different things that you can find the exact niche that you all are looking for in this space and in this room right here. Again, getting into the lead recommendations that I talked about earlier in the self-building prospecting list. LinkedIn will help you actually receive pre-vetted leads for you. You can literally see people who are similar decision makers in the exact same space that you're looking for. Again, we're talking about saving time and doing things more efficiently because that's what the name of this game is. I'm going to go through just a little quick because we have a lot of things to go through. And again, consistent engagement is always going to be key. That's the name of the game. We're going to continue to talk through that. Consistency, consistency, consistency. And again, when you save those leads, a few different features that will pop up for you. Again, you'll be alerted to changes. Basically, when people change jobs, questions about industry-related topics. There is also a CRM widget. Did you know that you can automatically integrate all of your LinkedIn connections to your HubSpot or to your CRM automatically for you? Did you know you can take a list directly from LinkedIn and put it right into an email campaign that you already have set up? That's what we're here for. These are the things that people don't realize that they're missing out on LinkedIn. That's right there. It's right at your fingertips. And again, it changes the game. This is what social selling really is. And again, going out of network, like I said, there's 350. It's skyrocketed, you guys. 600 million people, 600 million profiles have been created on LinkedIn. And like I said, I believe the number is 161 million of them are active. It's a great place. Again, just a couple quick more case studies. Highland Software Talk through about how they used to do a ton of cold calling and emailing. And now with this advanced search, with this self-building prospecting list, I can execute extremely granular queries quickly to find the exact right people without having to search on my own. Talks about taking JLL. Sales Navigator takes the value of LinkedIn to the next level. You can find out much more about your potential buyers than just using your basic LinkedIn. Deeper knowledge of your contacts, long-term connections, and gaining insights. Sales Navigator gave me the opportunity to understand what he wanted in terms of where he was going with the aspirations of his development. Sales Navigator shines a beacon of light through the fog so that I can quickly and easily connect to the right person to close deals more quickly. And again, ensuring that you're the expert, ensuring that you're that go-to resource, your profile truly needs to be premium. It needs to be updated. It needs to be active. Leverage the connections that you have. Again, are you engaging people? Are you asking people to engage back with you? And last but not least, leveraging the email, leveraging those direct messages. These are ways that social strategy, combined and complete and holistic, really helps build that trust that you all are looking for. Again, just a few things as we're going through. 6 things to keep in mind that we just went through. Number 1, building your lead list using that advanced search feature. Number 2, requesting introductions. Did you know that you can ask other people to introduce you to someone on LinkedIn automatically with the press of a button? It's things like this. Building that global connections through insightful engagement. Identifying problems and pain points so you know exactly how to speak to your clients and you know the type of content that you should be putting out there. You know what your audience is hoping to hear from you. And again, monitoring other LinkedIn profiles to engage with individuals, with clients, with customers, job changes, work anniversary, updates. Take part in the discussions. Be active. Why social selling? The key to digital transformation is re-envisioning and driving change in how the company operates. That's a management and a people challenge, not just a technology. In order to appropriately social sell, it needs to be something that the entire organization is bought in, not just your sales reps. And that's what we're going to talk through. How can admin be a part of this? How is marketing going to be a part of this? How is operations going to be a part of this process? Who owns social selling? The answer is your entire organization, not just salespeople. That's one of the biggest disconnects we see with individuals, is that people think and organizations think that the only people who need to social sell, who need to leverage the platform, are just the salespeople. And that's why social selling strategies don't go to the level that they can. And you guys, this process will require disruption. It will require potentially shifting some things in your organization to potentially make it work properly. It won't be easy. But what we know is that being ahead of not being ahead of the curve is a death of business. Innovation. We are literally in an incubator right here that prides itself on innovation. How are you all innovating? How are you all shifting as the market is shifting? We talked earlier, traditional methods are losing their effectiveness. So again, adapting equals thriving. Organizational success is really when you can take that prospect and your customers through that entire journey. And like we talked about, it's a sales, it's a marketing, it's an admin, it's an operations job. It is a holistic program. The value of social selling. Again, the why. Why are we even having this conversation? It's the new norm. Social selling is the new norm. A couple quick case studies for us. So we also did a case study on PayPal. They had a few things that they were looking for. And the reason that we picked these companies, you guys, is because if PayPal, if ADP, if Oracle, if they are out here using this platform to successfully sell, everyone in this room right here can absolutely be doing the same thing. PayPal was looking to identify